The biophilia hypothesis suggests that there is an instinctive bond between human beings and other living systems. Edward O. Wilson introduced and popularized the hypothesis in this book, Biophilia, 1984. He defines biophilia as the urge to affiliate with other forms of life. The term biophilia means love of life or living systems, described as a psychological orientation of being attracted to all that is alive and vital.
It's been really rough. Like for midterms, I think I actually got 2 B's,
wow.
Which is really rough for me. It's
Definitely.
Really rough for me.
No, I mean I know school can be real stressful and everything that I have going on, I know can be a lot, but I've never really thought about just coming outside to enjoy myself. Really.
I know. See, and I'm actually going camping instead of going with my friends to Miami for spring break. I decided I wanted to go camping.
Wow.
With the family.
Definitely. Who do you know these people?
Actually, I know him.
Also embrace my biophilia.
Say that again?
Biophilia.
Biophilia?
Yeah. So someone tell me what biophilia is.
Okay. Biophilia is the
Just keep going.
Let's see, I have it right here. The urge to affiliate with other forms of life, especially nature.
That you have with nature as an individual and something like that. Yeah, exactly. Wasn't there a guy called Edward Wilson? Yeah, he wrote that book called Biophilia, and it basically talks about his impression of biophilia and why people should interact with nature more because they find they're more in sync than.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I'm out here pretty much every day.
Wow.
I never thought I was embracing my biophilia.
Yeah, so what made you guys come out here? What made you realize that nature is what makes you peaceful?
Just it's quiet. Like I think a lot of people don't understand sometimes that we can be very talkative or loud but we can't be really loud or with the environment. And me being from the city, it's always loud.
Yeah.
So just to come out here and just be able to have peace and quiet and just hear only waves is actually really nice.
What about you?
Well, like I have a very busy schedule, so between school and working, and I also play basketball. I don't really have a lot of time for myself. So ever since I was 3, my dad really took me out on the boat, and so he could give me a chance to
Get some steel shots.
So I definitely want to come out here more. I know normally I go get food or that could not always be a good thing or just hang out with family. But this is something where I as an individual or even with a group of people can come out here and just enjoy myself and really just feel more relaxed. Even though I've only been out here for about 2-3 minutes, I already feel at ease.
What about the nature?
I think really the scenery, honestly.
Because of our technological advances and more time spent inside buildings and cars, it is argued that the lack of biophiliac activities and time spent in nature may be strengthening the disconnect of humans from nature. Although it has shown strong urges among people to reconnect with nature, the concern for the lack of connection with the rest of nature outside of us is that a stronger disregard for other plants, animals, and less appealing wild areas could lead to further ecosystem degradation and species loss. Therefore, reestablishing a connection with nature has become more important in the field of conservation. B. Beauty of nature. I. Interacting with nature. O. Other forms of life. P. Peace of seeking from nature itself. H. Having a quiet place. I. Intake in nature near. L. Love nature as nature loves humanity. I. Involve yourself with nature more. A. Anyone can be one with nature. Biophilia. In the book Biophilia by Edward O. Wilson, Wilson quotes, "On March 12, 1961, I stood in the Arwak village of Benhardstorp and looked south of the white sand coastal forest of Suriname. For reasons that were to take me 20 years to understand, that moment was fixed with an uncommon urgency in my memory. The emotions I felt were to grow more poignant at each remembrance, and in the end they changed into rational conjectures about matters that had only a distant bearing on the original event. The object of reflection can be summarized by a single word, biophilia, which I will be so bold as to define as an innate tendency to focus on life and lifelike processes. Let me explain it very briefly here and then develop a larger theme as I go along. From infancy, we concentrate happily on ourselves and other organisms. We learn to distinguish life from the inanimate and move toward it like moths to a porch light. Novelty and diversity are particularly esteemed. The mere mention of the word extraterrestrial evokes reveries about still unexplored life, displacing the old and once potent exotic that drew earlier generations to remote islands and jungled interiors. That much is immediately clear, but a great deal more needs to be added. I will make the case that to explore and affiliate with life is a deep and complicated process in mental development, to an extent still undervalued in philosophy and religion. Our existence depends on its prosperity. Our spirit is woven from it. Hope rises on its currents. There is more. Modern biology has produced a genuinely new way of looking at the world that is identically congenial to the inner direction of biophilia. In other words, instinct is in this rare instance aligned with reason. The conclusion I draw is optimistic. To the degree that we come to an understanding of other organisms, we will place a greater value on them and on ourselves. So I felt uneasy, perhaps the word is embarrassed, in the presence of a captive individual. This young adult was a perfect anatomical species with the rudiments of social behavior. But he was much more, a powerful presence, programmed at birth to respond, though learning steps in exactly the collared precary way and no other, to immoral environment from which he had been stolen, now a mute speaker trapped inside the unnatural clearing, like a messenger to me from an unexplored world. The end.